Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch your Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluent our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
One more time.
Turn to Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch your Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluent our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Turn to my corner. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, whatever time you are streaming and watching our 19th episode. It's Benji D Corner. I'm your host, Benji D. I am so pleased to be back. It feels so great. We finally are back after a long break. Thank God for Lois with Netronics, who made this possible, and the patience of our lovely publicist, very understanding, Natasha, who's really a great strategist, who really kept us along the way with all the technical difficulties we've been having for the past few weeks. We are back for good, and tonight we are bringing to you this wonderful guest. We get to share the same platform, but I'm having him on a different format and different conversation, nothing that we have done before in the past. And I know he's quite ready for me. Salusa Basquin, many of you from Palm Beach County knows the name. Everyone knows Salusa. Salusa is a community activist, political pundit, social science teacher, social activist, coach, father, husband, he wears so many hats. Salusa, it's just amazing to have him tonight with us to share his story, maybe information some of you may not know about him who are viewing this great episode tonight. We are really pleased to have him on the other end because he likes having me on the other end and asking the questions. And tonight I have the privilege of having him, and it's a great feeling. I want to thank my sponsors, Crystal Event Hall, for all your event. It's 561-577-7097. You're looking for a great location, a place to host a party, graduation, birthday parties, wedding reception, funeral reception, anniversaries, you name it, communion, conferences. Suite 16, Crystal Even All, located in Boynton Beach, right in the middle. That's 561-577-7097. Also, JD and Associate Services for your tax, your personal and business tax, 561-376-0220. JD Technical Institute for your bookkeeping and accounting courses with Professor Mr. D, who also teaches at Florida Atlantic University in the graduate program. And also, we want to thank Law B. Masnikoff and Associate for their support. It's 561-598-7120. If you get injured on the job or you have a disability case, you could contact them, and everyone will be glad to assist you. And we want to thank our partnership with Beanie's Lemonade, the best lemonade with the Creole twist. Beanie's has been busy this whole past couple weeks with the different festival they've been participating. Jazz Festival, the they have the upcoming festival coming up also in next week. They have been sold out, and different events. Beanies, for your order of beanies, just go on their website, Beanies Lemonade, or go to the IG page, Beanies Lemonade, and you'll see all the information where you could place your order and they could cater to your event. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really glad to be here. It's long overdue. I couldn't ask for a better time to be with you. I really appreciate those of you who have called and checked in. And I want to thank my great friend Jimmy Jacques of Tele Lacaille, who came to the rescue, and my friend Job, who came to the rescue when we were having all the technical difficulties. They have offered their help. They have tried to assist and see how we could maneuver and make everything work. I truly thank each and every one of you for the patience you've been having awaiting our following episodes coming up. We have a lineup for you. And yes, we're coming back with our kids edition. All the kids are ready. Some great young fellas that can't wait, and right now they are fighting. One of them supposed to be a guest, and she was telling his aunt, I thought I was supposed to be on. So they're coming for you as well. We know our heart goes deeply for the children, and we want to say special hello to the little Diel, and also Jaleesa, all our wonderful fan and supporters, and Jordan, all of you, Bethany. There are so many of them. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it, for everyone from all over who takes time, and our numbers are adding up. Keep on subscribing to our channel. Lately, since we've been down for quite a few weeks, we see that the subscription had slowed down a bit. Please raise it again, raise it back, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. We are back on, so get back to the subscription. We have to have like some kind of marathon for subscription, so you could subscribe to our channel. And I know you are watching every week. Those of you who didn't have a chance to catch up with other episodes, we are really glad to be back with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And our guest is in the background, really patiently waiting for us. We're not going to take time. We're going to quickly play our wonderful jingle to welcome him for you this evening. Stay tuned with us. It's going to be
Turn to Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluent our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Yes, turn to my corner, right on the corner with you. And we are coming at you live. We are premiering this great episodes for you. We are moving on. Yes, we will catch up, although we have lost the 4 weeks. We will catch up. And we're not going to take time. We're going to really glad to welcome. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It is great to have you, my wonderful Salusa Basquin. How are you this evening?
Benji, good evening. Good evening to everyone who's watching. I would like to say hello to all my friends on Facebook who are watching also. I just shared this on Facebook, so we're on Facebook today.
You are bad. You.
You're
so
on
bad.
Facebook now.
That heart is going boom, 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 boom.
Hey, listen, I
so
saw 3 little buttons up there, and I said, hey, let me try this. This is
You are
technology
so
age,
bad.
everything happens for a
You,
reason.
you are so bad. I should have known. I should have known when I have you as a guest. I gotta just await the surprise that's coming for me. Okay, let me be in my best behavior now. All right. It's your host, Benji D. Let me try to be like all professional. And you're bad. You were so bad. You were so bad. I'm going to get you for that. Now you get me all shy. Now I get to the show now.
Yeah, you can go ahead. We can do the show now. Now we can really do the show. We're doing the show now.
It's kind of funny and ironic. Everyone's wondering, but what's up with those two? They've done so many of those, over time. They've done so many of them. But what I must say, Salus, is this is a different platform. It's a really different platform, you know, and hi baby. It's social media. It's social media. My daughter just walked in. It's social media
I
and
trust
it's
me. I
different.
understand. I'm expecting my little ones to just pop in every time to say, what are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah. So that was like, see now, okay, now I gotta like reprogram my mind because I'm also on Facebook. I'm not ready for this, Salus. Come on, man.
I know.
Salus kept
Actually,
Basquin,
you just told
everyone.
me that you weren't ready, and I had to refrain myself from putting us on Instagram and all the other platform that I could
Oh,
share this on.
thank God you didn't. You see, I had to match you, man. You didn't
Yes,
know that was
ma'am.
coming. See, I had
Listen,
to match you, and even the hair. Everybody's wondering. Gosh, I never had the hair like that, but I knew I was gonna have you. Versatile,
I'm
exquisite.
enjoying this platform. This is my first time with anyone on this platform. Um, I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, so I had to like, dress appropriately. I like your beautiful African outfit. This is so unique.
Thank you.
That's why I'm dressed up like that as
I've been
well.
trying to bring on a different outfit every once in a while, just to reflect back on our African heritage. Um, a lot of people have seen my hair and they couldn't understand what was going on with me. Was I going crazy? Was I going lunatic? And I guess by now they realize no, he's not crazy. He's still fine. He's still
Now they understand, and so much knowledge with this hair, and so much wisdom, I must say.
well. The good
Man,
thing is for over the past 20 years, I can say that the hair has made not only made a way for itself, but others have followed suit. Now you
y-
can see some of the artists are following suit,
yes,
trying to
indeed.
hold it. My only regret is that none of them are coming to me and say, "Hey, how did you get your hair to be so chic to stay up all the time?" Because I see a lot of the young men that are trying, their hair are falling off, falling apart.
Yes, nowadays they do. Well, I had to match. You see, I made sure that I matched the wardrobe and I matched
Thank
the
you,
hair.
ma'am. I appreciate it.
I have a dirty ponytail, and I'm pretty sure my hairstylist MC, I would say, "What's going on? I love it." It's kind of crazy. Well, Salus, I'm so happy, and I must say, good evening to everyone, and also I know your kids are watching, and I know your greatest supporter, your wife is in the background. I know she's all thrilled. She's watching as well. Share. Good evening. And I'm going to be a little bit unprofessional. I'm the only woman that's allowed to say this is my college husband that I'm presenting as well. So everywhere, and she's okay
that is
with
so
it.
true.
She's okay with it because she know he's safe with Benji. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Well. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know which title to give you because you hold so many title. I think the wonderful Marlene Bastien from Haitien would say this is our greatest pioneer who had made the pathway for so many of us, and you are so special, man. When I see you, you know what I think of you, but I want others to discover much more about you because we hear of all the newcomers, and with social media we hear so much about a lot of new talent, a lot of uh, Haitian American coming up, artists and so forth, but many of our pioneers like yourself who are so silent, who have such a long rap sheet that 1 hour show would not even be enough to talk about that. But newcomers, new audience, they don't know much about Salusa. Let's take us back to little Salusa being in the US.
Well, I guess I have the right map behind my back,
Yes,
right? Actually,
yes.
I
He's a
have to
young
say
man.
to everyone that I have the map behind my back for a purpose
I have
because
to say you're a young
as of
man.
this week, Thursday, I am heading out to Michigan. My daughter is up in Michigan. She lives in Michigan, but I'm also doing the tour, um, the tour of the eastern side of the state, because most of the 25 top 25 basketball teams are on the east, schools like Michigan, Indiana, um, West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, in terms of basketball. And my eldest son is now a senior, and he's heading to college. So I'm gonna have to take a tour right here. I've got to learn how to use my finger on this. Right here from Florida, and move my way straight up, straight up the alley, and go all the way up to Michigan, right back here. All right. I'm going to end up in Michigan, which is right on top of Indiana and Chicago, west of New York, west of Boston. For those of you who are in New York and Boston watching this, so you would know, north of Atlanta, north of Alabama, all these other places. Nonetheless, let me take myself back to April 18, 1980, when I first made it here.
Let me jump in quickly before you go ahead and start. I'm gonna say your son is Arnold Basquin.
Yes,
Those
my
who would
son
be
is Arnold
following
Basquin. Yes, definitely. His name is Arnold Basquin. He actually this past weekend the tournament that they were in over at Kaiser University. His high school just won that, and for three of the 5 days, he won player of the game. Throughout the tournament.
Correct.
When I say 5 days, these are like 3 games per day tournament, 3 games per day tournament, and I was happy to see Palm Beach Lakes High School go against Boca High in the final, because my college buddy, uh, which is Alex St. Louis, former president of Comedy Creole, his son plays on the Boca team, and both of our sons were playing against each other. And
Great,
during
great,
the
great.
semifinal, they were both on the court, and I felt like I was the proud father of two wonderful kids who have done everything that they could to make it to the top of the line. And I was watching one on my left and one on my right, Alex's son on my left, having a wonderful game, and my son on the right having a wonderful game. Actually, that during the semifinal, Arnold had a perfect game, what you would literally call a perfect game. Did not miss a rebound, did not miss a layup, did not miss a shot. Everything that he did went well during that semifinal, and then they made it to the final, and the two of them were going against each other. So for those of you who would like, you can always find the final game on my page. Arnold ended up winning, and Alex's son, St. Louis, did not. Alex St. Louis Jr. did not win. But I don't think it was so much about winning. It was more that just to watch the two of them play for the very first, and you're watching them getting to meet each other and getting to play with each other for the very first time. I'm not hearing you right now.
I'm so sorry. This was a great experience, I bet. Sorry about
It
that.
was an awesome experience. I have pictures of both boys doing their thing. I have videos of both boys doing their thing. At some point, at most of the time, you would see the two of them going at it against each other, because they were the pillar of their team. Both of them were the pillar of their team, so they had to it was like watching Magic Johnson and LeBron James playing against each other, and that's those are two of my top players, by the way, in case anyone wonders why I use those two, although they're
I'm
in
pretty
two separate eras, completely far apart from each other.
I'm pretty sure those two are gonna make history at some point.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Let me take everyone back to 1980, and I remember April of 1980. Actually, I can say I remember January of 1980. As I had just finished my first semester in school in Haiti, and I was told that I was going to be traveling
Where were
to
you then?
the Bahamas, Jamaica, Martinique, and then finishing up here in the United States to come and stay with my parents. And I was happy because it's something that I knew that was coming prior about 2 years in advance. And when I got to Jamaica, and I still remember the reason I'm bringing this up. I remember the level of violence that was happening in Jamaica at the time during the election. And I went to lunch one time, and if people ever see me and wonder, hey, how come Salusa doesn't wear jewelry, and I want you to know why Salusa doesn't wear jewelry. There are little things in my life. There was a man sitting on the table next to us with a nice Seiko, gold Seiko watch, and a young man came over and says, "I give you the watch." And he says, "What do you mean give me the watch?" He says, "Give me the watch." He didn't give him the watch, and the man chopped his arm off
Ouch.
and took the watch and went away. And from I was scarred from that point, never to wear any jewelry, never to have anything to do with jewelry. So those are the main reason why I don't do that. And then I made it to the Bahamas a month later and had a wonderful time in the Bahamas. I haven't had a chance to make it back to Jamaica or the Bahamas, and came here on the 18th of April on what you would call an airboat, which is an airplane that comes down on water, right on the South Beach area, right on the MacArthur Causeway. At the time, I think it was an American airline airboat. It was a tiny American airline airboat, which took about 18 passengers, came in, and then my very first knowledge that I still remember was on 36th Street and between Northwest 7th and Northwest 10th. I ended up being at this lady's house where I saw a lamb véritable, which is breadfruit tree, in her yard. I was astonished. I was like, wow, this is what America is all about. Hey, lamb véritable. If there's lamb véritable, I'm ready. And then I look across the
How old were
street.
you then? How old were you at
I
that?
was 13.
Wow,
I
yeah.
was 13, and I look across the street, and when I looked across the street, I saw 8 tennis court, literally 8 tennis court, and I saw a fire department. I saw a track. I saw a basketball court. I mean, I was happy. My heart. I mean, you know how you have things in your dreams, like, hey, if I ever. And I remember sitting on like about a month prior to that, a month prior to my leaving Haiti, which was in December, on Sean Moss, listening to the Fanfare from Palais, the orchestra from Palais with my best friend Van, which I haven't seen since, which is Jules Jolibois. We sat down, we were talking, we were telling each other what dreams we have, what we would like to do if we ever make it, if we ever get money. We'd like to go back to Haiti, build some tall building, make sure that there's no one sleeping in the street. There's no poor person. If a poor person is in the street, because you want to, but you're going to build homes for them to stay in. And I'm 54 now, and I'm looking back. I'm like, wow. As a 13-year-old, those were the little things that came to mind
Did you
as I
enter
walked
by
the
your?
street of Portland.
Were you on the airboat by yourself, or your parents accompanied you as well?
No, actually, I came with two wonderful ladies, and still to this day, I call them mom.
Okay.
Because I spent 2 months with them, and they were my mothers, and I still call Mamita mom, and I still call Mado Uyol mom. Mado Uyol passed away about a year and a half ago, which is about 5 years after my mom. But Mamita is the only mom that I still have, that I still call mommy, and I still go to her house religiously as if I would go to my mom's house. And I'm still treated like the long lost son still. I came with these ladies, and they took care of me while I was coming here. When I got here in 1980, for those of you who were not here in 1980, understand the setting of America, understanding the setup for the Haitian community, understand the platform that is created. The immigration platform was not the best platform for the Haitian community. We had to rally at that time. So from the minute that I stepped foot here, I and my father himself was the person that took, he drove everyone to immigration from Belgrade every single day. He drove everyone to the doctor's office because at the time there wasn't immigration in Belgrade. There was a social security office, but there was no immigration. So everyone who made it there, there was a gentleman who took him in when he came in. I think it was Portland who took him in when he came in. My father started doing the same thing. Every single day, every single week, he would pick up two individuals or three or four from the Crum Detention Center, bring him home to Belgrade, bring him home. Someone would stay with us, someone would put up with other people, ask them to hold them for about 2 or 3 weeks. At the end of the 2 or 3 weeks, he would make sure he gets work for them, provide them with a work, and then say, hey, now it's time for you to make it on your own. Take two or three of them, put them in and find a facility for them to rent, and put them in that facility. So that those things my father kind of planted that seed inside of me, and I can say my mother had a lot to do with it as well because the two of them together, they always worked together, planting the seed of helping and assisting, taking me to 79th Street and Basquin Boulevard when we had rallies right across from the immigration center, requesting that they give us papers. And lo and behold, it didn't take long. I got to stand next to people like Pejajus, next to Pastor Jean. These
So the activists, see, that's what I tell 'em. That's what I really like this platform. I gotta tell everyone. This is someone that we've been doing so much together. I did not know that information.
yeah.
This is amazing.
People like Vite Just, who Vite Just, Les Cousins Record. I got to stand next to Louis Record. The Haitian business owners at the time in Miami or in Pompano was not that big yet. Del Rey, West Palm was not that big yet.
There's a very small community.
It was either you were in Miami, some people were in Fort Lauderdale, or you were in West Palm. I'm not West Palm, you were in Belgrade. Because Belgrade was the one spot that everyone could come and get a job right away. Tomorrow, you come tonight, tomorrow, you can go in the field and get a job. But today, all those jobs have been taken away by technology, not taken away, but things have moved forward. We have to move forward into a different platform where technology has taken over a lot of these jobs.
So you're watching. So
we were fighting to make sure that everyone receives some sort of status. I'm talking about President Carter at the time. I'm talking about President Reagan trying to make his way into office. The transition from President Carter to President Reagan, but everyone was given a chance, an opportunity, sometime in June, to go and file for their papers. So anyone and everyone who was here did get a chance to go and file for their I-94, which was a tiny that they gave us.
So very crucial document that everyone had.
It looks like carbon paper, but it was all white, and it was clean. Trust me, that was the piece of paper. That piece of paper was golden. Because once you have that piece of paper, you can do everything with it. You can go to work, but your status was pending. Okay, status pending, and I still remember that. Those were the two words that I learned in English. First two wonderful words that I learned in English.
How did you have time?
Pending, and I kept on trying to see what is the meaning of that.
How did you have time to do all these involvement and also being in school with your dad?
Being in school was not a problem. The involvements were created to so where it would either be in the afternoon, or it would be in the rallies were done in the afternoon, or they were done on a Saturday, where we would also go in front of the Crum Detention Center, rally in front of Crum Detention Center. And during the summertime like this, we would do a lot of the rallies during the summer, because the organizers at the time knew how important it was to get the children involved in this fight. And youth like myself had a chance to participate. We had a chance to participate. The I learned a lot through these rallies, because it allowed me to know what what is my limit. How do I deal with the police? Because the police at the time, they had these big, huge horses, and they would, trust me, they would not hesitate to stomp over you if you stepped over the line. You know how we were still going Black Lives Matter today. Well, guess what? Black Lives mattered back in
On
the
the way
day
back,
as
but the
well.
Haitian
Okay,
matters.
people were getting whipped by the police with liguas. At the time, these things were still allowed. Police officers were allowed to hit you however they want to, stomp over you, and we learn. Hey, this is our limit. This is where we can go. The police officers have their limit, and we have our limit. We will not cross that limit. And you learn how to rally without bringing any injury to yourself or to anyone else that is around you.
Having the
But
background
with
of
with
dealing
the
with
one thing in mind, which is the final goal, getting there. Rallies, like, and then we kept on these rallies. In 89, 87, and 89, they offered everyone who came in 1980 their green card. Then we would have to fight the battle again in the 90s. I know definitely you remember 1998 with the Clinton era, when we went to Washington D.C. We rallied. At the time, we were college students. I was doing my master's over at FAU at the time, and all the students, we packed, I think, 3 bus
then
load
you ended
from
up
FAU.
the Australian
Guys like
American.
Guy Laurent, Marlène Bastien from Miami. We found the leaders in the different areas and connected. We all got connected together
What was your
and went up.
experience? What was your
Yeah,
experience like? We know in the 1980s there was a lot of discrimination against Haitian. Like nowadays, everybody say, "Well, I'm Haitian. It's okay to."
everybody wants to be Haitian now.
my
Everybody wants to be Haitian now.
my daughter
There's a little saying that says, if you live long enough, you'll get to see everything. We've seen everything. Everybody wants to be Haitian now.
my daughter says to me, "Mommy, why everyone wants to be Haitian?" My friend's like, "Yo, Zo, I'm Haitian." Like, but the kid is white.
Oh no! Wait. You know what's the best part is? I have people that I know for a fact. I have no ties to the Haitian community, but when they say, "Hey, you know what? My great grandfather is Haitian," I'm like, "So what was his name?" No, but I don't do that. But it just goes to show how we go from being the black sheep of the community to being the superstars of the community now, in a
So did
sense.
you have any experience with the discrimination being in high school?
I had minor, because and this is where athletics came in. When I came into Belgrade, my first day in school, I think it was late May, early June. School was not, we were still in summer school. I went to school during the summer school, and excuse me, uh, during the summer school, and some of the kids were saying things. One of my biggest, the one thing that sticks to my mind was this Haitian Bahamian young lady. Okay, and this young lady was I think her name was Marie. Marie. Okay, her name was Marie. Ladies and gentlemen, Marie. But I understand her now. I guess she had gone through the width of the discrimination. So when I got into the math class that I was placed in, and she was the only Haitian. Well, no, not the only one. Her and Pierre were the only Haitian kids in that room. and the teacher says, "Could you guys do me a favor and help Salusa out?" And he says that to Marie, and Marie says, "I'm not Haitian," and okay, and I'm like, okay, no problem. Uh, and then he says that to Pierre, and Pierre also says, "I'm not Haitian." So here I am. I'm stuck in the classroom, sitting there by myself, and I'm looking around. I'm
Another
looking left. I'm
Haitian.
looking right, and I can't do. I didn't understand what the teacher was saying, but this was math, and this was middle school math, and I knew my math inside out. And there was a test being given that day, and I took the test while everybody else was going to take 35 to 45 minutes to do the test. I was done in 10 minutes and handed it over to the teacher, and I had 100. And the teacher stopped everyone and says, "Well, it's too bad that none of you wanted to help this kid out, but he's got 100. Salusa got 100." Oh, trust me, everybody wanted to be sitting next to me at that time.
Yeah,
So
because
they're
you're
like,
gonna
"Oh
be.
yeah, yeah, come." So that was my first experience. But Marie and I never got to be friends. It was unfortunate. We I think she even left Belgrade after that summer, or she came like her freshman, but I never got connected with her. But Pierre and I that same day, Pierre's father came to my dad because Pierre's father needed to go to immigration, and drove to my dad with him, and I'm looking at him like, "Papi, it's next Monsieur Desil ba Haitien, oui? Monsieur ba Haitien, papa monsieur take monsieur, regardez ça, monsieur, dit, ou pas Haitien, depuis qu'il est pas Haitien."
Mais ça,
So
non, c'est pas fort.
and we became great friends. Pierre and I became great friends throughout our 4 years of high school. And once I got into high school, because of the fact that I played sports, I played soccer, I ran cross country, I ran track. I was part of the superstars on campus, and I was one of the superstars on campus. When it comes to sports, when it comes to the soccer team, I was the it of the soccer team
So
for the
did
entire
you
4 years.
continuously carry the flag as you were the superstar? Everybody knew you were Haitian.
Time we didn't have flags, but we here's what I did do. Day one, I created the first Haitian student organization at that school in Belgrade. I think day one when I met with Miss Lutz, who was my French teacher. I met with Miss Haskell, who was my social studies teacher, and those two ladies, all throughout my high school years, pretty much shaped a lot of the things that I wanted to do, and said, "You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, you'll be fine." Even opening up my mom's business for her, they were the counselors that I needed. My guidance counselors were not the very best guidance counselors, because they told me flat out, "You can't go to college because you don't speak English." They gave me all the negativities. Yeah, I remember that, sitting in with the gentleman that was my guidance counselor.
What did they have in mind for you? Like just
What they had in mind for me, they listen. Everything happens for a reason. What they had in mind for me was that I could take auto mechanic, I could take lawnmower mechanic, because at the time, being a lawnmower mechanic, you would make money because lawnmowers would be breaking down. But what they didn't see is that 20 years down the road, there would not be a need for a lawnmower mechanic. I could be a carpenter. So day one, the following year, they started putting me in lawnmower. They put me in lawnmower mechanic as a freshman. They put me in auto mechanic as a sophomore, and as a junior and senior, I went to West Tech and became a carpenter. I'm a certified carpenter. I have
wow.
skills that would serve me in anywhere, in any country, anything that in any place that I end up, ever. If I ever go to another country where I don't speak the language, I will be able to work
Well,
because I have skills.
back in the days, because I had met the one of the prominent cardiologists, that was Marie Toussaint, and she was told the her guidance counselor when she said she wanted to be a doctor, said, "No, you cannot be a doctor. First, you are black, you are Haitian, and your English is not up to part." And right now, that's one of the top cardiologists that we have in the country.
I was once they told me that, I decided never to even tell them what I want to do. I went to those two ladies that I told you. I would go to Miss Lutz, I would go to Miss Haskell and ask them, hey, what should I take? What should I do? They were the people that would guide me and say, hey, this is which way you go. And I went back because I think I went back to my guidance counselor when I became a senior. Um, just because you have to sit down with him and have a sit down. He says, "So where are you going?" I said, "I don't know." The reason why I didn't know is because my junior year, I broke my leg and I had a compound fracture, which was a tibia and tibial fracture. And the two schools that were looking at me as a soccer player no longer came around, which was Duke and Yale. Luckily, I was always told by this older lady, Mrs. Holmes, who was our landlord. She always told me, she said, "Salusa, you're a smart kid. I love you just like I love my own grandchildren. But remember, no matter how great of an athlete you are, what you have in your head will never leave you. Everything else can go." And the second thing that she told me was, if you ever find yourself anywhere, whatever you're drinking or you're eating, do not leave it and get up and walk away from it. Walk away with it or don't eat it again, because then it can mess with your mind. So if I'm still alive, it's because of those three ladies. There are a lot of women in my life.
So the experience with the guidance counselor, is that what's gonna motivate you as you get into college to be even more involved with other students and helping out and a lot of Haitian students and so forth?
We started a Haitian student organization at Glade Central High School. And as I made my way into college, I did the same thing. I kept on pushing to make sure that there was a Haitian student organization at Bethune-Cookman, and then I transferred from Bethune-Cookman College to Barry University and opened up a Haitian student organization there. I had friends of mine, that guys that I used to play soccer against, and I'm like, all the Haitian students you have at Miami Dade, why don't we have a Haitian student organization? Those guys started a Haitian student organization there. And the same guys in I think it was '87, when they left Miami Dade and went to FAU, because FAU had a shortage of black students. They did not meet their quota, so they went to Miami Dade, and a lot of the Haitian kids left Miami Dade and went to FAU after they got their AA degree. So they started Combi Creole there. And again, I was also part of making sure that these things took place in the proper setting. Um, it it just so happened that I was in the right, I guess, in the right place at the right time. I didn't create certain things at Miami. Did not create certain things at FE, but I assisted others to make sure that it happened. And even after I graduated later on in life, I went around throughout the state to make sure that we had student organizations, Haitian student organizations, all
Why was
throughout the
this?
state,
Why
and
was this
about
so?
26 of them.
Why was it so important to you to keep that identity and assisting with all these different
I think
students
because
creating?
when I went to school at Bethune and went to school at Barry, I realized that keeping our identity at the college level is extremely important. There were a lot of Haitian students that were coming um, and did not they did not even have their Haitian Creole left no more. You understand? Kids who were born in Haiti but brought here at the age of 7, the age of 5, or others. But when they got here, they were not no longer speaking Creole. And having a Haitian student organization allowed them to keep their identity, allow them to work together with others. Are you still with me, Benji? Can you hear
Yes,
me
I
now?
am. I am. I'm
Okay.
listening.
Yeah, I noticed that the picture is frozen. That's why I'm asking. Um, as we move along the way, I realized that those kids, it would have been a plus for us to keep our heritage intact, to know who we were. And that same year, 1987, we also started Club Creole Apaja, Association of Parents and Professionals for the Advancement of Young Haitian American, 87 going into 88, that's summer of 88, um, with Madame Estimé, Madame Labossière, these ladies who had children that were born here now, and they were looking for a particular place, a setting where they can bring their kids, and their kids would feel Haitian, would feel like they were driven driven forward to move forward in life as Haitian students. And those high school kids from North Miami, from Miami Edison, from Norland, from different high schools. These two parents not only created a parent organization, which was Association of Parents and Professionals for the Advancement of Young Haitian American, but also created a youth group. And I was called upon and asked to be one of the student advisors, slash member of the organization to help those kids move along. And today, these are young lawyers, young doctors, young what do you call it, accountants, you name it. We are in every
in various fields.
sector of the community.
Great. I tell you that it's a long rap sheet. I told the audience, listen to
Yeah.
all these details you are giving. It's a long rap sheet that you have, Salusa, and it's really great. Now moving into college and being involved and participating, and when you see where we are now, do you feel that the same eagerness, the same involvement, do you feel is the same as back in the years when you were involved and many others were involved?
There seems to be a sense of loss. We created a pathway for the younger generation to make their way into fraternities and sororities, um, and other organizations, Black Student Organization, Black Student Union, Caribbean Student Organization. We didn't just create a Haitian student organization. We wanted to create, not create but create a bridge for our students to be able to participate in these other organizations, because we knew that there would have been, as a professional, they would find themselves working with people from all over the world, and creating it within our organization. We invited everyone to come and learn about the Haitian community. I think it's different today than the way it was back in the days. It's unfortunate that I could say in the year 2000, when we started the Florida Haitian Student Association, um, there were some individuals who were part of the organization within the next 9 years. I think it was year 9 going to its year 8 going to its year 9, 2008, 2009, wanted to dismantle the organization to create their own, to take over the organization. When we were the elders, because we created an organization that, even when we were in our 60s and 70s, the youth would have had us as a reference to go to. Right? We created that. We left our names in all the colleges and universities, our phone numbers, and we promised never to change our numbers, to make sure that the youth, wherever it may be, maybe our great grandchildren who comes in, and one of them will find our numbers and realize, wow, there was a platform that was created, and we did create a platform. We left that platform for them, regardless to what happened in the year 2008, where there was a breakup and then a recreation. And even with that recreation, they were making the Constitution, and you would find them, they forgot to erase the FHSA logo at the bottom of the Constitution, and that was funny. Like, wow. But as one of the ones who had been there, I must say that that generation, we had something to prove to ourselves. We had to prove to ourselves that we can make it.
And we have to show that we
Recent,
belong. We
yeah,
belong. We belong
recently,
among
I,
them.
recently, as of 6 months ago, I got a chance to meet two young men who left Haiti by boat and got here, and on a boat that had 112 kids, and out of the boat of 100, not 100, 116, only four of them were allowed to stay here, and I am now the guardian of those two, and I see that same eagerness in them that I saw in us back in the 1980s, the 1990s, the respect that we brought forth. So there is still a chance that, the younger generation will find their path, one way or the other.
Wow, it's amazing listening to you. Going back in the days of so much that has been done and have accomplished. Uh, your involvement, not only you got involved with the students, you assisted with the organization, but you yourself also became a teacher. Why did you decide to teach?
Becoming a teacher, as my degree was supposed to be in pre med. I was in my third year of pre med when I realized that the same I was fighting with this one teacher constantly, my chemistry teacher, and I had her class twice already, and she was the dean of the chemistry department. I made a logical choice to become to study psychology instead, and at the end of my third year, so I was taking all my psychology classes all in one year, and I had to do an internship, and my internship was over at Gratney Elementary. When I walked into that school, there was a young man named Andre, and Andre had a big padlock on his neck, and it was all a gold padlock on his neck. And that gold padlock, and I asked Andre, so why do you carry this? He says, because I'm a king. And I understood him. He wanted to be a king, but he did not have anyone to properly lead him into the way that he can live life as a king. And I said, Andre, do you realize? He says everybody calls me king over here. Andre was 14. He was still in elementary school. So Andre was my main reason, and the reason why Andre was still in elementary school is because at the time Andre lived in the back of the school on that same block where Gratney Elementary was. And yet, no one had made it to his house
To find out what was going on.
to find out what was going on with Andre. Why was he acting up? Why was he dressing the way he was dressed? And how can they assist? In less than a week, I was able to go to his house, reach his parents, had Andre coming to school in his church clothes, dressing up like a king, literally, and then back to regular outfit. But got him to finish school that year through credit recovery, which is something that everybody knows of now. But credit recovery was something new at the time, where kids who were so far behind could come in and do their credit. It was his credit assisted him every day, and when I couldn't make it, they sent somebody else over from Club Creole or from the Haitian Student Organization at the university, to assist Andre in the process.
That's great. From teaching to fatherhood, your children. You talked about your oldest daughter, and you talked about
Yes,
Arnold,
Maya.
Maya, and also we could talk a bit about Angel Gabriel. Then you're gonna have a completely a 360 different experience with your young son.
Total experience, and I mean, I guess with every child you have a different experience. Maya was my first angel. I know that you remember Maya from the FAU days. She was always with me
Yes,
everywhere I
sure.
go. She pretty much taught me what it takes to be a father and how easy it was to be a father. Um, I think a lot of people look at parenthood as a major task. It's not so much of a major task. It's our job to assist someone else in life and show them the proper steps and that they need to take to move ahead in life. And we just happen to be the curator of their lives as they come through. Today, actually Maya has set the path for everybody else. That she speaks Creole. She's still taking Creole classes to learn how to write Creole. Works for Kellogg now as an engineer, and also works as one of the leaders and assisting nonprofit organizations in Haiti. Um, to help those nonprofit organizations to grow, to plant, to do other projects, major projects that they can. Kellogg assisting them financially and making sure that these projects come to a full 360. And then we'll come up to 10 years later with Arnold. Arnold being 10 years apart from Maya. I started all over again. After Arnold, I had decided that I think I was done. I needed time for myself just for me to be me. Um, and about, let's say, again, 9 years into Arnold, I said, you know what, maybe I can try this. Let me try this again. Um, I had one relationship, two relationship things folded. Let's try this again. Hopefully this time will work out. Right now, I can say that we're 14 years into our relationship with three wonderful sons. Gabriel being not so much a challenge. It was just a lesson that I think Gabriel was part of my path, and he was set in my path in order for me to start digging back into my medical knowledge, into my mystical knowledge, into my voodoo knowledge, back into my African roots. Gabriel really brought me back deep into my Masonic knowledge to search for answers that we have right here on Earth. We have leaves.
Share with the
So many
audience.
options.
Could you share with the audience a little bit of more details of what you
Yeah,
refer
I'm
to when
gonna
you're
do an
saying such
episode.
impact with Gabriel?
Gabriel was born with retinoblastoma. At 2 months old, his mom was at home with him, and she called me. She says, "I think something is wrong with Gabriel. I'm looking into his eyes. I don't like the look that I've seen into his eyes." And I said to her, "Well, I should be home soon." It was about 12:30 in the daytime. And I said, "Just take some pictures. You need to go run to the hospital." She said, "I don't think you need to go to the hospital. I don't think something is wrong." She said that again the second time. And I said, "Why do you say something is wrong?" I've looked into his eyes and I've never seen anything wrong. She says, "I'm looking into his eyes. I'm just not comfortable with what I see in his eyes." I said, "Okay, call a doctor, find an ophthalmologist, and let's make our way to an eye doctor real quick. As soon as I get off, we went up to Basquin and said, "Hey, you know what? This is what's wrong. We think there's something extremely wrong with him. Can they?" It was a Friday, as a matter of fact. Excuse the noise in the background. That's
I
Gabriel.
can hear it. He heard his name. He heard his name.
He's here. We took him to Basquin. They immediately tested him and said, yes, he has retinoblastoma, which is cancer of the hospital as soon as possible because if we don't, he will lose his eyes by the time he's 6 months old. He will probably grow. The cancer will probably grow into to his brain, and he will die by the time he's 3 years or 2 or 3 years old.
How did you feel when you heard that?
When I heard that, like any parent, I'm different. I'm a different breed. I'm wired differently. When I heard that, I said to myself, "Well, there must be other options. There must be things that we can do. What can we do?" And he said, "Show up here on Monday. Let's get started. We'll go ahead and check whatever we'll do with laser surgery and with chemo. We'll get started. He's not the first to have that. They see a lot of the kids there. Unfortunately, I can say that I have seen so many children, a countless amount of children, and we used to go every Friday. Every Friday they would go in and check, and every 2 weeks they would check, go in for operations, lasers, chemo, and I started looking into, what is it that you can do to assist. And his grandma also started looking into it. What cause? What are the cause of cancer? It's naturally a lack of iron that causes cancer. A lack of iron in the system. So we started filling him up with a lot of iron. Beets and pineapple and aloe to putting a nice combination of these things together, making sure that it's not tasting the aloe, and putting the aloe on top of the eye. His grandma putting leaves like lalo.
So how many procedures has he had so far?
I stopped counting. Remember, Gabriel is 5 years and 5 years and 3 months, 3.5 months today, which means that for 5 years and 1 month, we have been in the hospital. The first year and a half, we were in the hospital every other week, every 2 weeks. That means for 52 weeks, we were there for 26 different procedures. And then we went from 2 weeks to 3 weeks the following year. After that second 2.5 years, then we left at 3 weeks to 1 month. 1 month apart. We would go in 1 month apart. Then one day we went in about 2 years ago, and the doctor says, we're going to leave the 1 month apart. We're going to start seeing Gabriel every 3 months now. Then he moved it to every 4 months, moved it to every 6 months. Then we went back to every 4 months because he had seen some growth in the eye. The battle against cancer from Gabriel helped some other people to still be alive. That's just the knowledge that I learned from that. I passed on to others with breast cancer, with colon cancer, and told them, hey, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. I'm not a doctor, but this is what helped my son. So Gabriel again has been he had a purpose for being here. He's a cheerful young man. Plays with his older brother Nathaniel. Runs around with Arnold. Runs around with Raphael. He's quite a comedian. He is quite an annoying little brother. So
A few years ago, you had this statement on Facebook. How you explained that because of Gabriel, you had to change your whole career path. You become a man.
I did. Actually, when Gabriel came in, I think you remember assisting me in my studies. I had to, well, not just me, but Gabriel's mom, Cher, and I both decided that Gabriel was going to be the focus. Yes, we're going to take over like, but we got to focus on him so that we basically
I'm
can't lose
doing
him.
a little bit blurry with the sound. If you could, your sound.
We can't
Yeah,
hear
now
you.
it's good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, a little bit better now.
Okay. Can you raise your volume just a little bit too?
Yeah, I'll raise mine. Sure.
Yeah. We,
Is that good now?
yes, that's good. So she decided, we decided that she was not, and I was going to change my career path, not from teaching. I would still be within the field of teaching, but as a sub, because then as a sub, I have the rights to just not show up because every 2 weeks I ended up be at the hospital. So I couldn't really work a full time job and tell the full time job that hey, I'm leaving. But I did work to enough to pay my bills, just enough to pay my bills, and I enjoyed being a father that I could barely provide for my kids. I had no problem with it. I knew that that's what I had to do to be able to remain alive. We both knew that's what we had to do, sacrifices. Sherry is the administrator keeping Gabriel alive. She's the administrator for everything that we do within the house to make sure that hey, this is what we do. It's coming up. This is what's coming. This is how what we need to do to get that done. Giving me enough time ahead, giving me enough warning ahead so I can make sure that we make ends meet. And we did make ends meet. Gabriel changed a lot of things in my life. My path is within the radio station. Took a different path, and that I was no longer going to the radio station 5 days a week. Uh, at night, I was more hustling out there trying to find more advertising than going to the station. I realized that hey, it's not so much how many hours you put in on the radio. It's how effective you can become in bringing in the cash to the team. So I did that and paid my bills. Between the radio, the advertising, the the subs.
You became the man of all trades, huh?
Well, not so much of all trades. All the
That's
trades that I had learned earlier in life, they
the
now
sacrifice of a father and a
and
mother.
I was trying to use whatever I have in my possession to make sure that I survive.
That's good. That's good. Well, Salus, it's been great. It's been great having you. I just wanted you to share so much with the audience, and it was really really great listening to you. And I know for many who don't know Salusa Basquin, and they have discovered a lot, and to bring our identity also for us Haitian and especially newcomers that may just enter here, they can hear the different path that someone can take in making it and making such impact. You have made such impact in our community and so many lives, and myself and many others. And Alain Pompilus, he talks highly of you. There's so many. The list is so long. This is one of our pioneer who deserve really a big applause. Thank you for
Thank you.
everything you have
The
done.
biggest impact I think again back to Gabriel because of Gabriel's life. The biggest impact was when we had last year, about a year and a half ago, 18 months ago, when the coronavirus broke out, and I was able to find a tea that would help bring people back to health when people were falling, dying, and again I was able to find the solution through through the ancestors by asking the ancestors, hey, I need your support, I need your assistance. Actually, I knew the solution to the problem before the problem became blown up. When people were dying in New York, at the time when they were piling people up in trailers in New York, we lost quite a bit of the Haitian community up in New York. And then they started hitting us down here. So I went in and I said, you know what, I have something that can help people back to health. And, naturally, people are going to be like, yo, you need to stop with that crap. I
They
had
call
some
it as the
pastors who
juju. It's
called
the
me,
juju that we have.
huh?
They call it as the juju, the special juju.
Exactly. I mean, when I said I had a tea that could bring you back to health, and this was brought to me in a revelation. Some of the pastors, I had pastors who called me and cussed me out and said, if God was going to give a solution to this problem, why would you be the one that he brought it to? Still this day, I never question why I'm the one that was giving the opportunity. All I say is thank you, you know, and please in the future keep coming back to me because this has the T itself, which is tipo de la vida, which in 3 days, if you were tested positive for corona, now that we're 18 months into the battle, everyone now it's a reference. It becomes a reference here in South Florida, from Orlando, Tampa, down to Miami, all the way up to Michigan, to Ohio, Colorado, Kansas City, Kansas, Indiana, Haitians in Texas, New Orleans, people in Los Angeles, not just Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, people from all over are now referring to the tea as the tea that brings them back to health. So 18 months later, that impact is now more trusted. But at the beginning, I received some nasty phone calls from
I'm
people.
sure some threats as well.
Trust me. But it's unfortunate that those same people who called me and cussed me out, pastors, are no longer alive because coronavirus took them away. They did not believe
That there was
the
some
works that I
solution.
brought forth to heal them of the problem.
Thank you, Salusa. Thank you so much. It's been great having
Benji, I
you.
thank you very much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with you on radio, and today it's on social media, on YouTube, and I did get a chance to put us on Facebook, so we're also on Facebook today. So to all my Facebook friends, thank you very much for watching. This is Benji's show. It's a pleasure to always be with you.
Keep up being this great, wonderful father and community activist, and allowing all of us to do great and follow your footsteps.
Thank you very much,
Power
Benji.
to you.
And to all my friends along the way, I'm making my way up from Florida all the way up to Michigan. So if you want to take me in for one night, please let me
Yes, reserve, because it's high demand for Basquin. And great
thank you,
job with your
Benji.
son. And I'm looking forward to having Arnold very soon on this platform.
He is looking forward to being your guest as well.
Great, great. Have a wonderful night and hello to the children and the wife. Share. Good evening.
Thank you.
So long, everyone. It was great. It was great being with you. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. And thank you to this wonderful friend, Salusa Basquin, pioneer, uh, you name it. A lot, a lot. He has done so much. We need to hear about those who have been there, those who paved the way. It's important, and who welcome also many newcomers that are doing similar things and greater impact as well. Different generation. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It was a great episode spending time with you. Thank you to my publicist, Natasha, with Let's Boss Talk. Check her out on IG, Let's Boss Talk, for any strategy, any idea that you have, and you just want to bring it to reality. Natasha is your girl, as I like to say. Check her out, and she'll be more than glad to give you a consult and sit with you and figure out exactly what is it you want to do, what is it you want to accomplish. Netronics with Lewis, who's tirelessly really support and work and make sure that our system is working, everything is going great, and who makes time, the couple minutes to fix everything, put everything in order. It was great. It was a great night to be with you. I really enjoyed it. Benji D saying thank you to each and every one of you. Continue to share what we have on our platform. We have other episodes that we have done with several other guests, and we have our great kids edition that we have more kids coming up for you that's going to tell their stories. What we do on this platform when we continuously allow individuals to really share their story, their own story, their path, what they've been through, what it's been like, their challenges, and the most significant thing that had happened to them. Very deep, very personal, on a different level. And we truly like having that kind of time with you. Our Facebook page is Benji D Corner, and also IG is Benji D Corner. On YouTube, Benji D Corner. Subscribe to our channel, add up our numbers, keep on viewing the episodes that we bring to you. We bring you a different guest every time, and we have several more guests coming up for other shows for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Be safe and much love. God bless everyone. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Benji D signing off. We enjoy doing this. It's like drinking water, and we thank you. And we cannot do it if you are not watching and support us. Thank you so much. For any questions, any comments, any suggestion, shoot us an email. It's contactbenjid@gmail.com, or you could give us a call at 561-331-1021. You could text us as well, 561-331-1021. Very soon, once we can really maneuver and also be on Facebook, we will have our hotline that you could also call in and participate and share your ideas and ask questions for our guests. Just stay tuned for much more coming. It was Benji D signing off. So long, everyone. It was a wonderful night. I like to blow that kisses. Mwah. Have a wonderful time. So long, everyone. Thank you. Much love. Until next time, Benji D signing off on the Benji D Corner. And thank you to our wonderful guest, Salusa Basquin. Thank you.